my friend.
Thank you, Marco. And we are live, and we've nearly got the full team here from our broadcast this week. So thank you to Marco who's hosting the show. And I say hello to Joe.
Evening, guys. How are you doing?
And to Linda.
G'day, y'all.
To Tina.
Good morning.
Good morning, Tina. To David.
Hello from Canada, eh?
Very good. And over to South Africa and Brigetti. Hello, Brigetti.
Hello from Cape Town, everyone.
Hello.
Now, we're waiting for Lottie Hearn to join us, and she will shortly, I'm sure. Great that we're all together. This is the first time we've all been on screen at the same time, so anything can happen. People may come and go during the course of the next hour. What we're actually talking about is something which is our theme for this week, which is live video broadcasting, and in particular, producing live shows. In the last 4 years, millions of people have learned how to go live and produce their own shows. And they started off on the phones, and then they moved to desktop, and they've gone to BeLive, StreamYard, and today we're on Restream. There are options. We'll talk a little bit about Restream later, but for the moment, what we're looking at is two things. One, if you're producing a show, what services should you offer? And two, if you're looking for somebody to produce your show, what questions should you ask? Now, this is day 3, so we've looked at two sides of it. Today's a roundtable discussion, and I'm open to anyone to actually jump in. I know I've got 7 people capable of jumping in and put your point of view about live production.
Go, Brigetti.
You're putting me in the hot seat, are you?
Why not?
Well, welcome everyone. Let me just say that I love live video, and for me, it's about going live with a purpose. I'm definitely not, I know Linda loves going, and I think one had, there's a mixture of the two, going live with a produced show and then going live just on the fly. And I think one of the things that we've discussed or wanted to discuss this week is to help people differentiate from the Zoom shows as opposed to a produced live show. And I think we've knuckled down quite a bit on that difference between going live on Zoom and going live on a produced show as a live stream and offering that as a service. When you're hosting a Zoom, it's not a produced show, it's not a production. And again, I want to bring it back to what Luri Patucci did. She's knuckled down on the 4 ways in which you can live stream, and I think we can use that as a kickoff for the discussion again, which is number 1. Level 1 live streaming is when you simply go live from your phone, and Linda, I think, is the queen of doing that. She absolutely aces that, going live from your phone. And then secondly, going live using software like Facebook Live Producer, for example, which doesn't have all the bells and whistles, but it's a next level up from going live just on your phone. In other words, using your desktop. And then what we're doing today is level 3 live streaming, which is we are using browser-based software. Again, we mentioned there are a number of them, but what we're currently using is Restream, StreamYard, BeLive. Those are the sort of browser-based softwares that you can use to go live, and that's level 3 live streaming. Level 4, of course, is when you're using standalone software. That's a little bit more advanced, but generally people that are doing live streaming don't use the TV quality live streaming, although it is available. It is a bit more expensive. So this is kind of where the market is at the moment for most people. This is the affordable market using the level 3 live streaming. We're using browser-based software, but it's a produced show where you can have all the bells and whistles that you would normally see on a just not that kind of quality, but it comes pretty close.
Well,
Indeed.
dang, show over. Brigitte hit it off.
Anyone
Dang.
else want to take it
Yeah,
from
that's
there?
it. We don't need to carry
I
on.
just saw the basis for the conversation.
I agree. I think that's a great place to start because, live streaming, what does that even mean? It just means that you're live. You're streaming through your phone or through your computer and you're just live. But what quality are you using? Like right now, I'm here, I'm at a school. I just got kicked out, of the school. And, I'm doing what I can to be, here today. If I were producing my show, I wouldn't be here right now. I would have made sure that I, had my studio set up and everything like that. But I'm here. I'm able to go live at any place in the world. It was funny that Brigitte mentioned you going live on the phone because that's what I'm doing right now. So we have all these opportunities to share our voice with the world, through video. And it's an amazing platform because people get to see who you truly are. Whether you're doing a pre-recorded or you're doing a live video, whatever it is, people get to see who you truly are. Because here's one thing I realized. In written language, I have the opportunity to go reread it, see if it makes any sense. I can move things around. I can delete things. I can add things. But in live video, there is none of that. There are no redos. This is it. It's live video. So I love live video. It's changed my life. It's helped me to gain a lot of confidence, for my own personal life as well as my business life. It's helped me to get in front of audiences I wouldn't normally get in front of. It's helped me to, inspire and motivate people in ways that I never imagined I would do, which is really cool. So, it's an amazing platform, a way for you to share your voice with the world and make a difference on this planet. Let's raise the vibration because we got a low vibration right now. It's time to raise it and make this a much more positive planet. And live video is one of the ways that we can do that.
Okay.
Joe,
Yeah.
I think Joe has
Drop
something
the
to say.
Drop the mic.
Who's catching it? Tina, can you turn your phone sideways so that
Yeah,
it will look better?
yeah, you can do it.
Yeah.
I'm scared too.
No problem at
No,
all.
do it.
Do it,
Hey.
no problem.
You
So-
have no
so
idea
people
what
out
it's
there-
been. You have no idea what a morning it's been already. I could lose the connection. Let me my quick tip, and then I'm going to go off, turn my phone, and I'll come back on. So I agree with everything that
Okay.
Brigitte and Linda have said so far. So important, one ingredient, and those of you that don't know me, I'm a professional photographer. Your portrait, your profile pic, that image that they see of you determines a lot of the time if people will click or not click or keep scrolling by you. So make sure you have a compelling, professionally captured image, that you're well lit, you're in a nice, bright, inviting color, your background is pleasing, because that also says a lot about who you are and the quality of the video coming in. So that's so important. A basic ingredient in the live stream cake or recipe.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'll weigh in here too now if I can, Stephen or
Yeah.
Marco or Lynn or whoever. Nobody's in charge here, right?
No, we're all.
Anarchy.
I think one of the things that we had a great conversation, Stephen and Linda and myself yesterday, and then so far this week it's been great conversations. But one of the things we should tell people: expect something to go wrong. just
least.
saying.
At least.
Expect something to go wrong. It could be as simple. I did a live stream. We had Labor Day was here on Monday in Canada, and I did a live stream virtual parade, and I was doing some interviews, and I was self-producing. Jason was flying the drone, all that stuff. I forgot to unmute myself. I came back from a shot, and I started talking, and it was really good, actually. And then I went, oh, crap, I forgot to unmute. But here's what I can say. Stuff will go wrong, whether it's the technology or if you want to blame yourself for something like forgetting to unmute. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's okay. It's like, I don't know, if you ever took piano lessons, they say, if you hit the wrong key, you don't stop and start all over. You just keep going. and learn to laugh, right? Because I'll tell you how I handle the situation, you know, and I'm my headphones. Here we are today with blah, 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 and I'm in interview mode, and I just finally unmuted it, and I just started laughing, and I said, "I'm really sorry." And this was like the president of one of our local unions, right? So kind of a big, and I just started laughing. And when you laugh, especially when you're interviewing somebody, they can't help but laugh too. So don't just, stuff will go wrong, you know. Don't expect it to be perfect. But you know, you talk about level 1, 2, 3, and 4. You know, you can be prepared, right? So depending on what level you want there, so just don't sweat it, folks. Stuff's going to go wrong, and it's okay.
Hey, can I jump in there and say?
Oh, okay,
sorry,
go ahead.
Linda. Everything has gone wrong for me today. I've got a brand new laptop. I've got my old Surface. The microphone wouldn't connect. Nothing would connect to Wi-Fi. I've just spent the last half hour going, and with my MS, that's the thing. I'm just like, my MS is my multiple success. That's what I have to keep focusing on. And you know what, folks? Ultimately, exactly what David said. I just went, because you're either going to go at yourself, with your guests, your viewers, your everybody else, or you're going to go, and that is much nicer than that. So keep the faith, you can get through it. And I tell you what, get some buddies like this lot, and they can all be on air for you, with you, while you're sorting it all out.
Right on, Lonnie.
I gotta jump on David's thing too, because I did a video where, like, David, like, you were like, "Oh my God, that was brilliant," right? And then you were muted. Okay, I started off my video muted the first 5 minutes, and I didn't know I was muted. I didn't know I was muted because nobody hopped on for the first 5 minutes. So 5 minutes later, they're like, "I can't hear you. I can't hear you." Now here's what was cool. People watched the replay and were like, "I can't hear you," and they stuck on for that first 5 minutes of not being able to hear me. So you just keep going. Like, I didn't stop the video. I just kept going. You know, it was brilliant before that, though. I was like, "Dang it! I wish I captured it."
Linda,
really good.
that always happens. You always say your best gens just before you realise. Oh, I've done, Linda, early days. Tina will vouch for this. Tina and Jen called it doing a Lottie, forgetting to unmute your button. And I've done like 15 minutes, 20 minutes of shows, but people are amazing. I ended up having phone calls from people to say, "Lottie, fix your sound. You've got nothing on there." You come back on and you admit to it and you say it's all stuffed up. It's all gone wrong. And then you hope, like just then, you're getting video bombed by somebody bringing you in a lovely cup of coffee. Video bombings is always great. Just laugh, enjoy it. And know that everything, like Linda was just saying, everything you've got came from in here and in here in the first place. So trust yourself that you're gonna bring it back again, because that's why people have asked you to speak about it in the first place. So there you go. Trust yourself.
Absolutely.
Totally agree. Now, we're having great fun doing these broadcasts. This is the third this week, and this is the first time that everybody has been able to. Where's the producer of this show? It's been the first time that we've all been able to get together. Before this, we're broadcasting groups of 3 and 4, and it's just great to have everybody on the same screen. We know that Adair and Irene will be with us tomorrow, but for the day, I've got a question for everybody to get everybody involved. What would you say is the best reason to get somebody to produce your show? What's the benefits of having somebody produce your show?
You don't have to worry about the mute button.
That's one, yeah.
Yeah, unless they're chatting you up and they're like, "Unmute yourself, unmute yourself," and they don't ever see your message. Like, okay, that's awesome. Well, I think, I mean, we talked about it yesterday, and one of the things is it up-levels you. It's an immediate up-level. I mentioned Brigetti because, yesterday, because Brigetti has this amazing the pre, I don't know what you call it, but the video where she, comes out with this video and showing herself or B-roll or what have you. And I'm like, oh my God, this lady is like, she's on CNN. I'm looking at her and she totally rocks it with that. And it is immediate up level. So that's one thing I think about having somebody else produce your show for you.
I totally agree with Linda there. And I think adding on to that as well, it's the fact that even if you've been live streaming for a while, every single one of us here learn from each other every single time we come together to do this. Because somebody has heard something about a new tool here. Somebody's seen something. Marco today is getting all of us on screen at the same time. I haven't seen this yet. So this is on Restream. And thank you, Marco, for doing that for us. Because live is a never stop learning space. Having a producer for you, if you are new, or if you have been doing this for a long time, somebody who is the next level up from you can always teach you a new trick. Old dogs don't learn new tricks. I disagree with that completely. I'm an old one. And next gen learning and Young Changemakers Ireland is what we're working on. I can be a young change maker at any age I like. So know that when you work with a producer, you are joining a team with somebody who has that much more experience than you. And if they don't, or if they say something that you go about, like Brigetti was saying on Monday and you guys were saying yesterday, don't work with them. You don't have to. Simple as that.
Absolutely. Well, let me jump the conversation. Talking about mistakes. Have you ever did this? Because the mute, I did it. But one thing I use often is when I'm making some tutorial about some tool, and then I change the Chrome tab, and nobody's seeing it because I didn't share the screen. And I'm saying, oh, look, you should hit this button and then here. And everybody say, it's not showing on screen. Well, about having a producer, I think it's good to have someone who has more experience than you. And this live streaming is a lot about trust, confidence, and sometimes the producer is kind of your hook to give you confidence and to hold you when you're because you're afraid of everything. I know, at least I'm not afraid of something that may happen, because I know, as David said, everything could happen, and to me, everything happened. Everything. For instance, the other day I started my show with my guest upside down. And here on the studio, he was okay. And people, oh, your guest is upside down. It's Spider-Man. And that's the point. And the laugh is very, very... It's good when you see on the other end, and that's our job as producer also, is to smile to the other who's in the front of the camera, who may be scared, who may be afraid. And if you smile, I think smile, and a genuine smile. And we can smile because we know things could happen. We know it's normal. We know how to fix it, and most important of all, we know that problems on a live stream are not the end of the world. So I think it's very important to give this confidence to those people who are starting on the live stream world, or even not starting, but they want to be just in front of the camera, speak, having fun with the guest and with the audience. So I think it's one of the main jobs of a producer, is to give that confidence to the people who are in front of the screen. Now,
to that point, I want to bring in Joe, because Joe, you do a great job not only of producing shows for people, but also of taking people who on camera for the first time. Can you describe that experience?
Yeah, if people see me looking down a lot, it's because the last few days I'm furiously writing notes. So I'm in listening mode, which is very difficult for Big Joe Chef, I have to say. Everybody knows that. So I'm putting together sort of the framework, if you like, titles, the headers and stuff for the team to write the framework about. But you're right, Tim, there's a couple of things. And that's why on my own, when we expanded our own Global Rugby online shows, I made a conscious decision to do two things. One is to do joint venture shows with other forums and other individuals to promote them for nothing, because it comes back to you, I found. And also I wanted to help the next generation of people who are interested in doing live shows, because there is a fundamental difference, a bloody big fundamental difference between going live. And I loved beginning the way that Brigetti again recaptured those levels through. That's one of the huge things I'll take away this week in my own thinking about the different levels of live and how we structure and explain that through. But producing some stuff in the first, if I've got a new show on, I will tend to sit for the first or the second show and I will co-host it with them, and I will chat them through the whole of the process of coming together with curating the content, writing the show, running order and admin documentation, so they know it's there. It's part of that teaching going through, because I'm finding with a lot of marquee sports players and business people who are coming on our lives that actually they may have been interviewed before, but being interviewed on live streaming is totally different to them. I didn't expect that, lads, to be honest. And actually taking them through, I said on Monday, the greatest compliment I feel that you get is that when you come off a show, one of your guests who we would look up to in the world as a marquee, as a key person of individual, a key person of influence, as Daniel Priestley would say, they say, do you know what, that was great, informal, we got the message across, it was very, very well run, I'd come back on again, I forgot I was on air. And that's the magic. The way you do it.
Yeah, that is the magic. And just to go to your point of you would expect that somebody came from film or from television will be able to switch to live video straight away. Brigetti and I have had many conversations about the fact that it's not the same. Live video is a different animal and you have to approach it differently. You're not reading off a script. You might work by an agenda or by the run of show sheets. But Brigetti, I mean, just to go to the point I asked Joe, you have many guests who are appearing on your Writer's Corner broadcast for the first time. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, Writer's Corner is it's not a scripted show at all. Again, I think just as mentioned there now, we have a show outline. I definitely work with a show outlines. We're not going live by accident only for 2 years. There is a definite outline. We meet all from all over the world, and some authors like to have things in advance, for example. Others don't. Others are quite happy to go with the flow and just see where the conversation takes us. But we have, I think what we try and work with, and I think that's always my goal, is that you start with what is the outcome? What do you want to get out of it? And what do you want your audience to get out of it? And then work backwards. So rather than having the show scripted per se, is for me, it's focusing on the outcome. What do you want out of it? What must your audience get? And did you reach that goal at the end of your live stream? That to me is more of a key issue than a script per se.
Would totally back up Brigetti on that. And I was just as Brigetti was saying, like I've come from stage, acting on stage, creating TV shows, traveling around the world, all sorts of cultures. And the biggest, I love what Brigetti always talks about, and when we work with people who we are interviewing, is that yes, you have a plan. The best show content comes from the moments when you stop focusing here and keep focusing on your guest, whether they're there or whether they're with you in studio, and really listen. Because the amount of times I've had people, like you've all been saying, it's people at the end of it, and it is the biggest compliment of, oh my God, wow, that was amazing. Even I learned something from a world champion, a sports star, when they come off at the end and go, how the heck did you get me to admit to that? And I'm like, yes, my job is done. I've got some golden secret. They wouldn't say it if they weren't happy to share it. But also people, if you think that most people need some coaxing to get them on screen and to feel comfortable here, our job as hosts, as producers, to help you do it, and as live stream presenters, is to make the guests that appear on screen with us comfortable so that they feel safe and secure in sharing all the information they want to share. And remember, when you've got a really good producer, the other benefits of having that person there is they can keep you on track. They can bring up a comment. If you're going off on a tangent, they can bring up, we had a big discussion about this on Monday, they can bring up a comment that gets you back on track. They can keep you to time. They can make sure that remind you of something that was really important, like the marketing at the end. Where's the call to action at the end of a show? And they can do the selling for you, so that, as Tina's favorite phrase that she brought to us at Ladies Go Live, bring the sass. It's the serve, share, and shine, so you can stop telling and selling and start sharing and caring. And that's one of the biggest benefits for me that a producer can help you do. They take that sales, I was going to say salesmanship, but no, that's not. My brain's not working quite today, folks. But they take the pressure off you of having to pitch. That's the word I was looking for. Having to do the pitch. And you can do the same for your guests as well. You sell them, serve, share, and shine. Tina, come on, you're the gem on this one, Tina.
To that point, one of the things that people are worried about is how they're actually going to look on camera and how to present themselves on camera, how to dress on camera. And we are very fortunate to have Tina with us today. As Lottie has just said, Tina, it's over to you. How do we start?
Well, I wanted to bring up an analogy because I am known for analogies, and we all learned to ride a bike first beginning with the tricycle. Then we moved to a bike, a two-wheeler with training wheels, and we had that person pushing us and guiding us. That's the producer. And eventually those training wheels come up and you ride a two-wheeler on your own. So the important thing is you push the start button. And there's so many people out there that are afraid to do that. So as Lottie said, my favorite hashtag is we serve, share, and shine. So by serving each other, either with being the producer, we enable information to be shared and everyone can shine. When you have a producer, it furthermore enables you to be the expert and stay on track. And God knows I can get down a rabbit hole faster than any bunny I know. And that producer can guide back and moderate the conversation. If someone is overtaking the conversation, saying it too much in their favor, that producer can act as a moderator. And as Lottie said, pull things right back on track. So remember, we all start riding a bike on a tricycle. And you might start your live stream adventure by being a guest on a show or being on a panel, as we did so many times on Ladies Go Live. And we brought so many people, introducing them to the live stream platform in this manner is, I've got this, I'm going to guide you, I'm here for you, I'm going to throw it over you. You know, when you come back on at the end of an interview, that means, you know, you're getting the hook, time's up. So there's little tips and tricks we can all do to help each other and increase confidence on both sides. And I find when you produce a show, you kind of see things on the back end that you don't see as a guest or a host. So it's very helpful to be on all sides of the camera and know the different platforms and how they're going to work best, when to put the comments on, and when you need to guide or steer the conversation, or when it's time to take those training wheels off.
Okay, now Linda is back. Linda, have you unmuted? Testing.
Hello, hello.
Hello, Linda.
Yay, I'm unmuted. Yay.
Right, okay. Okay. I mean, this is the first time that we've had everybody together on Restream, and as with any system which is in beta, there are going to be the occasional problems, and we do know that the guys at Restream are actually monitoring the broadcast. So, moving
Hello,
on.
guys.
Yeah, hello.
We bow down to you.
Okay. Why should we use live video? Why should people be using live video? And David.
Why not?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, look at the cool people. You get to hang out with some cool people, and you get to communicate. Listen, it's a good question though. Like I have conversation. I do some social media management as well, and I sort of sometimes go in the back door with it, but I say, but one of the things we should be doing on your Facebook page is we should have you go live. Oh boy, I don't know. No, I don't know. And then, whoa, it's just like the conversation goes in another direction. A lot of you, she's got a book, it looks like in the background, camera confidence, that sort of confidence on camera. I get it. It takes time. You'd want to look at yourself, and is my hair right, and do I got the right this and that, and COVID's actually done a good thing in the sense of all of a sudden everybody realized they got to go live, or they got to, whether that's a Zoom meeting or something like this. I sort of chuckle because I've been doing this live stream thing for about 10 years. And so if you rewind back 10 years ago and what live even looked like, boy, I could tell you some story you don't want to talk about. Don't worry about being unmuted. It's going to help people see more of the value in live streaming because COVID showed up. And, before it was maybe kind of like, oh yeah, that live thing. Oh yeah, we can do that. Or I can do that on my phone. And let me go live so I can show off my kitty cat doing silly things. Right? Whereas now, I'll give you an example. I work with a local hockey club and have for 5 years already, and they've recognized for some time the value of live streaming. When I do post-game interviews with the hockey players. And those are some of the people, believe it or not, that they don't like always giving interviews or getting in front of the camera. So why go live? To grow. And if anything, I know I talked to somebody the other day, and they were thanking me for, helping them go live. Our friend of ours, Dom Fernandez, who has MS. So he's in a wheelchair. He has a little bit of movement in his left hand, and that's it. And he's been going live for almost a year now, and I'm so proud of him. He tells his story. He shares his story. And he self-produces, right? I mean, there's a guy that could probably use a producer. He chooses to do it this way. So why go live? Because somebody needs you. You can impact. I talk about this in my class that I teach at the college, and one of the first days I talked to my students. I said, you have an opportunity that you never had before, and I never had when I was a kid, to get in front of a camera and impact somebody in a positive way. And who knows what that impact can have. We could have a whole conversation about the word impact, but there's a couple of reasons why go live. Impact, change the world if you want with live streaming. We many of us here, just by doing this as many years as we have, Stephen and I have had a relationship for about 3 years. Never met the guy in person. But I know when I go to England, I've probably got a place to stay, right?
Totally.
And it's just, 20 minutes from Stonehenge. Who would want to be
and in
friends with
Ireland,
Stephen?
and in Ireland.
Right,
and
Ireland.
Portugal.
Right? My wife's always asking me, who's all these women you're hanging out with? Right? And then there's that guy. Anyway, I think you get the point there. But there's 101 reasons why go live. Find your reason why and go live and just share.
Appreciate
Yeah,
you saying-
I'm with.
Sorry.
Okay.
Marco,
Well,
it's you.
I'm with David on that because, you know,
Linda.
we can talk about, you know, how it helps us, but also how does it help others? You're making that impact. Like just yesterday, I shared a story of how I did a live video 2 years ago, talking about an experience that I had. And I had had fibromyalgia for 7 years, and I was in excruciating pain to the point where I couldn't even bend down and pick up a penny, which I loved. My husband and I like have these goals, like who can pick up the most pennies, you know? So I wasn't able to do that for 7 years. So I did this juice fast. I got rid of my fibromyalgia. Some woman watched it last week after 2 years of doing that video. She started her juice fast and she sent me a message this morning, like, I'm feeling so much better. I can do things I couldn't do for years now because of doing this. So we don't know what kind of impact we're making. Sometimes you might have 0 watchers, 0 viewers, and then you might have people watching later. And that's okay because your video is still out there. So if you're like, you know, I don't want to do it for myself, I want to do it for others, then do it for others. If you want to do it for yourself, do it for yourself. It helped me gain a lot of confidence. You know, I would not be doing this 6 years ago. I was terrified to do any video at all. I didn't even like to be in pictures, let alone on video. And it's really changed my life. And, you know, I've helped like over 375 people start live streaming. And what I love about it is that many of them have gone on to have their own shows. You know, so it's really cool how you can see how just opening up your mind to this new world here of live streaming, to see how it can impact your own life as well as the lives of others. But getting yourself out there, taking the steps, taking the actions to make it happen, you don't know what results you're going to get. You can have ideas and thoughts of like what results you want, but usually the results are way better than you ever imagined in your own brain. You know, it's like usually way better than that. It has been for me. I would probably guess for most of us here, the impact has been much better than we ever anticipated in our own minds.
Totally agree with that. Totally. Marco,
Yes.
why do you love live video? You've got to come on. You can't just produce. You've got to be on camera.
Okay.
It's in the rules.
Well, I'm gonna.
I don't know about those characters behind Marco. They're a little bit disturbing.
Yeah.
I just want to say.
They are the live stream giants.
Sorry.
How many? 1, 2, 3. Okay. I think somehow it's us. Well, I wanted to make this note, which is something we should be aware as a producer and tell to people, because there's this thing about nobody's watching. Oh my God, I'm losing energy. What's the point of speaking and everything? I have reasons for you to keep moving and to keep delivering energy when nobody's watching, or supposedly. First, think about the replay, because some people will come after. Think about repurposing. So if a video it's you speaking, oh, nobody's watching, let me wait. It's hard to repurpose. And third and most important, your training. So if you lose the opportunity to be training, to be practicing, while nobody's watching, it's the right time to make mistakes. It's crazy. And why I love live streaming, because it's so real. It's the chance for me to be me in front of a camera. And again, one day a guy come to me, Marco, oh, you know, I like the content you're sharing. I think you know what you're talking about. But to be honest, I don't like your tone. You're very casual, very relaxed. And I say, my God, you know, I don't pretend to be the news presenter. That's not my point. I'm there to be Marco, because if I play the role of a news presenter, it's not me. And why should people watch me if they are watching another character, which is not me? So again, it's something important to have yourself in front of the camera. And one thing for me, it's very important, is when someone watches me, and someone who knows me from 20 years, for instance, and says to me, Marco, it's you, nobody else. Who knows you from the street sees the same person. And for me, it's important. For me, it's the right definition of authenticity. And it doesn't mean that you, in your real life, you have to be energized all the time, because sometimes I like to be introvert. I like to be on my corner, just there. But I think it happens all the time to us. For instance, if you go to a party, we dance, and if we are at home all alone, we don't need to be dancing to be ourselves. Okay, so again, it's really important to think about it, and all the learning you got from live streaming. For instance, here we have this saying which says, if you are a teacher in the classroom, you're supposed to be the person who learns more. And I think we can apply this also on live streaming. Even though you're supposed to share knowledge, and I think it's good, with your audience, it is supposed you be the person who learns more from doing this. And now I send it back, the spotlight to Stephen.
Spotlight's back to me, but I just want to pick up on a point, and this is a point about the guests and producing shows and getting people together. Joe, I just want to know more about your experiences in actually producing the live shows, what it actually takes.
I think that, again, the reason I articulated before, to give other people an opportunity, but it was also because I actually found it very draining. It was so much, about 10 hours it takes me to put a show together, to produce all that engagement, to do the online discussions with people, do the discovery piece that we discussed the other day, and then produce everything. And I wanted to be able to learn more, as Marcus just said, I wanted to be able to learn more about the craft of producing, because it was the next level up to me. I felt I was pretty comfortable being a host. Again, as you can see, I've got a number of things I'm going to wrap up with later, and that brings a whole pile of things together. But the producing thing allows me to look at a show and a live in a totally different way than hosting, and trying to concentrate on hosting and producing and the comments and trying to keep the whole. And again, I have a professional show running order and admin doc, but they're just topic areas. You know, I'm not delivering. If I'm delivering a course or a content and I've got set modules I've got to go through, totally different. This is live streaming. You're telling a story with that individual, regardless of what it's about. And then there may be a call to action if it's a marketing thing at the end, business thing. So from the production point of view, it allows you to look at what you do, when you do it, why you do it, how you do it, where you're doing it in a much more detailed way. And the biggest thing as a producer, I go away learning about the topic area more because I don't listen when I'm the host. And that for me was a massive, massive thing. So there's a whole range, helping and promoting other people and giving them the opportunity, trying to find hosts and leaders for my shows for the future, learning more about how to produce things without losing my own sort of quirky manner and ways. But developing my own aspects of production that fitted in with what I want. I've done the show as a host, I've been a guest. As a producer, I remember all of those things, and hopefully all of it comes together like a bit of a jigsaw. Definitely, it's a much, much bigger learning point when you just go to producing than trying to do all of it.
Brilliant. Mr. Producer, can you bring us all on screen?
Of course I can.
There you are. It's magical. Right, okay. So we've all spoken so far, but I want to go around everybody and just sort of feed off each other and pick up the point and just run with it. So where would you like to start is my first question. What message would you like to put out there about anything aspect of live video? Yes,
I'll jump in first. I'll jump in
Brilliant.
first, please.
Okay.
I just listen. It's really fascinating what Joe was saying about that. When you're hosting your show, you don't listen as much. And Joe, I'd actually challenge you on that one, because I think you are one of the best listeners to the people who are sharing content on your show, because, like I said earlier, you do pick up on really interesting snippets that people bring in. And I know every single host, every single interviewer here in the room does exactly that. Where are the moments? As Stephen said, why use it? Why should your viewers be interested? If you as the host, interviewee or producer go, "Ooh, that's interesting about something," the likelihood is that is exactly what your viewers want to know about. So when you are, why use a producer is that, yes, you can be more relaxed to share you. A producer can share for you and brand you. And also, I think with COVID right now, with everybody self-producing video chats, we discussed this in depth on Monday, the difference between video chats and live stream. I think that the connections and the collaborations, when you come together with a producer that works with you, never for you, then you can create that listening crew that can really take you up to that next level. And I loved what Marco was saying about, if you're I think, Marco, that's one of the classiest comments of the day, is that you are learning more as the teacher in the room than the people who are listening. And as I'm working with TEDx young people at the moment, and we are building, Tina, we're using Ladies Go Live, all the tools that we tried to use for Ladies Go Live, and Brigetti along the way. We're going to mimic what we did 2 and 3 years ago for the first all-day live event. We're going to mimic that. So find what you have liked on screen, take the best, leave the rest. And whatever you do, Marco will attest to this, make it easy on you. Whatever you do, make it easy on you. That's the biggest reminder. And that's it.
One thing you should never have.
I'm with Lottie on the hosting. On hosting, I find that, when I interview people, what I do is I listen with my ears, but I also listen to what they're not saying. And oftentimes, because of that, I'm able to pick up things that, because I'm really intensely listening. So when I produce a show, I'm totally opposite than you, Joe. I am so stressed out about making sure that I'm putting things in the right place and all this stuff that I don't really hear what they're saying at all. I don't walk away remembering it, But when I interview somebody, I'm in their head. And one of my favorite parts is when you get to the end of the interview and they were like, "I love when you asked that question." Because I never had anybody ask me that before, and I didn't know how to really respond, but I came up with it. And that's always exciting to me, where people aren't asking some of these questions. And it's I love hosting, I love interviewing. That's my favorite part. But the producing part, I love have somebody else do that part, because that's the most challenging part for me. So it's finding what's the easiest, like you just said, Elodie, right? And Marco, make it easy on yourself. If there's something you're doing that's it's trying to put a square peg into a round hole, that doesn't work very well. So find somebody else to be your square peg so you can be the round hole or whatever. I don't know. That's my analogy, Tina. That's all I got. That's all I got.
And Brigetti, I mean, you've made use of him. I'm just going to mention something which is in video, because it was mentioned by Linda earlier. And your use of InVideo to actually do the B-rolls, in fact, to do a lot of videos for your live shows. You'd like to talk about that for a moment?
Yes, as a producer, I love. I feel like it's a journey that I'm on. Even after all this time, I still feel like I'm learning every single time I go live, and I want to continue that learning. I never want to stop learning and innovating in the way that I do things, or the tools that I use. I find it really exciting doing that. And one of the additions to my shows has been intros and outros, and sometimes I do B-rolls. And I I absolutely love it. So I've tried a number of different tools to use for creating these intros and outros. And the one that I'm currently really, really enjoying is InVideo because it's so simple to use. It's an affordable tool, and people, it absolutely gives me a, because I never, people don't know what's coming next. So every single time before a guest comes onto the show, in addition to playing the intro to the show, I do that B-roll so that it introduces them. And every single guest, I mean, it gives me such delight when they're on screen. I'm watching them watch the video, and I see this huge, big grin on their faces. And, because I know it relaxes people. And by the time that they're onto the screen, they've got this huge, big smile, and all that stress that they had about being on camera has melted away. So that's one of the reasons I use InVideo to produce these, because I know how much it relaxes people. And InVideo has also been innovating constantly all the time. There's been a constant stream of new things that they've added to make it a lot more interesting for the audience. So that's my little plug about InVideo and the fact that I love using it to incorporate and increase the production value of my live streams.
I mean, it's invaluable in actually helping to brand the show. I mean, I know that the systems that we use BeLive and StreamYard, and we're on Restream today, can be used for branding. But the use of video does two things. One, it can enhance the brand of the show that you're producing. And the second thing is, if you're actually a producer, it gives you a few seconds off. And that's, as a producer of a show, you're always grateful to be able to sit quietly for a moment or two and just have a sip of coffee before carrying on. Now, David, I know that you were going to leave, but you stayed, and I'm grateful for that. If we just go around the table, starting with yourself, and just basically your key takeaway from being on the shows this week.
From being on the shows this week, well, I sort of briefly mentioned it yesterday, but one of the things I love about going live is meeting other people. I love people. I adore people, and it was pointed out that Joe's really good at listening. And I'm glad you mentioned that, Lottie, because I was thinking that earlier today. I thought, boy, he hasn't said anything yet, and I was almost going to jump in and say, hey, Joe, I want to hear from you. But it's really a skill that a lot of us could learn. And it's, even as an interviewer, mostly what I do is interview. I do some producing, but I really had to learn to listen. It's so hard sometimes because it's just who we are, right? But that's certainly a skill in all of this. But the takeaway for me is meeting the people and learning from each other. Even if it's sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I've heard that tidbit before. It's still a nice reminder or a refresher to go, oh yeah, I'm really glad Joe brought that up, or I'm really glad, whatever. And the interaction, I said it years ago to Stephen, I think I said, I truly believe that live streaming can change the world. And this was long before a pandemic. I truly believe that live streaming can change the world used properly. And we're seeing an example of that now, how there truly is no more borders. You can go international, worldwide, whatever you want to call it to make it sound big, in seconds. And I just kind of go back to, and I've heard so many great different stories here today. Brigetti, I don't always comment. I guess that's one of the, but I watch you a lot on LinkedIn Live. I really enjoy what Brigetti's done, and we've all learned something from each other, and hopefully we've been able to create some nuggets and reminders here today for everybody who's watching too. But just pick a platform, pick something, and just go live, and just, I know I sound like Nike, but just do it. It really is true. I said it yesterday to Linda. I said, I'm so mad that I didn't think of that tagline. Just do it. I want that. But anyway, so that's my nugget. And thanks to Marco, Stephen, and everybody for coming on. I'm very sincere when I say I enjoy listening there and learning from everybody. So, and on that note, from Canada, I am going to drop out because now that you said something, Stephen, I do got to go. So thanks, everybody. Really, thank you so much.
Bye, David.
Have we got the screenshot before David goes? Have we got the screenshot?
We'll get it. David, take care and see you Monday, if not before. And I think that this is magical because this is the first time, this is the 9th series of Be Live in 5 shows that we've done. And we've become firm friends. I think that's one of the things, Tina, isn't it? That you can build friendships that last for years.
Absolutely. And I had 2 big points that I wanted to share. You've heard a lot here about people saying, I'm always learning, I keep learning it. I've been, since COVID, on TikTok, addicted, okay? I admit it. I mean, I'm a TikTok addict. But you can learn things from people of any age. I'm still learning, and you want to keep your mind open to always keep learning. The day you die is when you're closed off and I don't need to know anymore and I know everything I need to know. You're sadly mistaken. So always keep learning, and it doesn't matter from what age of the person you're learning. Everyone has someone to offer. And on that same note, alluding to what Joe said and what's been said about Joe, listen, if someone comes to you and say, hey, I have an idea, or did you ever think of, if you are going to invest the air, the brain cells, and try to help me, I'm going to listen. I might not always do it, but I might jot that down. And thank you for thinking of me, and thank you for sharing your idea that I might not do today. I might do it next week, next month, or next year. So always keep learning, always keep sharing, and listen. And finally, the point I wanted to bring is every time you go on screen, whether you're a guest, you're a host, you're a producer, you're a moderator, you're in a panel, it's an audition. You are putting yourself out there worldwide. Make sure it's the image and reputation that you want to stand behind. Are you dressed properly and appropriately? Is your background pleasing? Are you speak slow enough that people can understand what you're speaking about? Because it's an audition. Someone might say, hey, I'd collaborate with you, or I'd love to do a show with you, or I'd love you to do this with me. So every time you go on, you're throwing your name in a huge hat of opportunities that are out there waiting for you.
Indeed. And Linda, it is about reaching out to people, isn't it? And as we did the show, Just Do It, and we've copyrighted that, it is about making friends and influencing people.
Oh yeah, big time. And it's funny because as Tina was mentioning backgrounds, here I am at an elementary school, you know, but I just doing it. And it's funny. What's interesting about this, and I want to actually address that because Tina mentioned, you know, it's about your brand. What is your brand? Well, my brand is all about taking action. My brand is about taking inspired action. My brand is not about taking perfect action. So this works for me because Linda showed up, right? So this is what my brand is all about. So this, for me, the backgrounds, it's not as important because it's about just doing it and taking that action. And you have Stephen mentioned, you know, if it weren't for live streaming, here's the thing that's really cool for me as I was thinking about this as you guys were talking. If it weren't for live streaming, I would never have interviewed the president of Mexico, the country. It was because of the live streaming that I've done, the confidence that I've gained by being in front of a camera that got me to that place. Now, the story of how I got there is too long to tell today. But it's the point here is that when I first started live streaming, actually the reason I did it was because I was doing videos for a friend who asked me who was born with cerebral palsy. He asked me to do a video. I was terrified, but and then he asked me to do them every day. Still terrified, but I did it because he asked me. So my reason why I do videos was because somebody asked me to do it, but it's turned into way more than that. And that's my point on it, is that we don't know what's to come in the future. So the idea of just hitting that go live button and putting yourself out there and just doing it, taking the action that it takes to make this happen, just go in there, do it, have a great time with it and see what comes of it, because its chances are that what's going to come of it is, again, way more than your little mind could ever imagine. But it's the taking the action is that what makes it happen. I mean, I've interviewed some amazing people on the red carpet. You know, I've interviewed stars. I interviewed Wesley Snipes last year. Hello. I mean, that's kind of cool, right? that would never have happened had I not done live streaming. So that's my plug for live streaming. Just go out there and just do it.
I want to say, Linda, outdoor light is the most complimentary on the skin, so that's working.
Well, yeah, if you're the right way. There we go.
And Brigetti is back just in time. I've got great memories. Brigetti and I did the show with BeLive, and we helped hundreds of people around the globe to learn all about live streaming. And I think, Brigetti, live video can educate people.
Oh, yeah. I think she agrees.
Right. Okay. Joe, your thoughts as we leave the air, because we're on borrowed time now. Your thoughts, your closing thoughts that you mentioned earlier.
Okay. A couple of general points which cover really everything that most people have covered today already, but I had them written down. One size doesn't fit all. You have got to be comfortable in what you do and how you do it and where you do it and when you do it, and especially why you do it. And it's got to be that, you know, we try and emulate. I mean, I say this is more like Care in the Community Week, and I'm the guest from the Care in the Community program with all you professionals on there. And I mean that in the very best possible admiration, because I've watched you all since I've been doing this for only two and a half years, and learned so much from everybody and take every little bit. By the way, it's bloody hard for someone like me to listen. There's a Scottish comic character called Rabsy Nesbitt. He's in this fest and he goes, I just want to tell you this. And half the time inside my brain, my little people who read the Chimp Paradox, my little chimp is going, say something. And I'm having to try and hold back. So today was very, very difficult because I'm trying to manage my chimp. If you haven't read the Chimp Paradox, Jesus, you must do. So one size doesn't fit all. Be comfortable with who you are and what you're doing, because that's part of your brand. I knew that I can use XSplits. I've used XSplit in the past and just waiting for you green screen to come. But I knew there would be people like Brigetti and Stephen and David and Mark who would have green screen backgrounds on. I knew that somebody would be mobile. Linda, fair play to you for pulling out stops this week, and best wishes to your family for that panel. And there'd be people who have sort of a studio effect. And I'm like, well, this is, you know, elements of me, and this is what I do generally. So I wanted to have a bit of a mixture role. So one size doesn't fit all. Be comfortable with who you are and what you're doing. Don't cut corners. Reschedule. If it doesn't feel comfortable with a guest and the guest isn't going to do what you need for your brand and for their brand, reschedule. I had, even my, and this is not going to say his name, I had an former international world, one of the world's top sports players ever. And I was meant to do a series of shows with him. He couldn't get into his studio at home. He was going to be on the road, and I pulled the plug on it. Now, that had potential ramifications for that individual. For me, working an individual, I've got a good friendship with him. But I explained to him that it wouldn't be professional enough for his brand or for me or for what we're trying to do. And it might cut out. And therefore, do you know what? Let's reschedule it. So don't be afraid to say no, because it's about moving. That's one of the things I've learned, that I never used to say no. I just used to do something because I wanted to be part of it. So that's important. Guests, again, we've covered, they're not used to doing virtual lives. That was a real eye-opener to me. It's only 8-9 months ago now since everybody's seen, you know, people coming from their home and it's all glitchy as well, that everybody's accepted now that it is a different world. And there are a lot of people out there who just aren't used to it. Make them feel comfortable by you being comfortable where you are, what you're doing. If it goes wrong, and it will go wrong, just roll with it, laugh. Jesus, I couldn't even begin. It's just a show. I wish I could record my own bloopers, because that would be absolutely fab. And don't worry about the numbers. Do not worry about the numbers at all, because you never know who is going to be watching you at any one point. And finally, everybody heard of Rudyard Kipling. Okay, Rudyard Kipling, the sort of poet and the writer and everything, he had an expression called 6 brothers. 6 good brothers have I true. What, where, when, why, how, and who. What, where, when, why, how, and who. You ask that to anything you're doing as a live producer, you will always get to a natural conclusion about what you need to have in your show with your people.
Brilliant. Sound common sense, and thank you. And before I hand over to Lottie to close the show, this gives Lottie a few seconds to get ready for that. Brigetti, can you hear me? Right. Okay. The thing is that we've all become firm friends over the time we've been broadcasting together. It's always a pleasure to get together, and to close the show today, we have the pleasure of Lottie. It's over to you.
And when you know the people that you love and trust doing the live world, you know that they'll never throw anything at you at the last minute. Of course, will they? Yeah, right. Well, with this fabulous crew, you know that anything can happen, and you know that they can laugh with you, you can laugh at you. Listening to everybody today, I'm coming back to what Tina was saying again, because she and I have known each other since 2017, creating virtual summits. And Brigetti was there, and Linda's been there, and Stephen was a Man Up Friday back then as well. You may go live for whatever reason it is for you. At times, you may need to step away. I did videos on my bowel cancer when that happened in the early 2011, 2012. I've been doing some stories about MS, but like David said with his friend, I'm taking heart from that right now, that should my body fall apart and whatever happens, I can still use these tools. So what David was saying about, you never know, the one person that needs to hear you, maybe the person that's watching you right now. So I know Chocolate Johnny always says he actually gets a bit of white tack or blue tack and sticks it on top of the next to the camera where it says how many people are watching you live. Because that, with your guest, you are there as your guest's number one fan. Your viewers hopefully are there to be number one fans for you. And if they don't like you, that's okay too. Make sure that, as Tina says, you can speak nice and clearly so that anybody from anywhere, inclusion and diversity, inclusion, you'll see live, hopefully today, the captions coming up for the deaf and hard of hearing. We spoke about that on Monday too. I know tomorrow, Adair and Irene from BeLive they're both BeLive experts. Adair actually she does social media marketing in Australia, and they are total gems, both of them, in the help that they offer. So please do join them at 3 o'clock UK time, whatever time it is, wherever
Portugal
you are.
time, Marco.
What's 4 o'clock in Portugal, Marco?
No.
Oh, 3 o'clock, the same as you. Woohoo!
Yeah.
And as I'm getting all red in the face, and hot under the collar, not under the covers, thank you very much. See, things go wrong. You find a way out of it. But Tina's going to be sitting there going, oh, come on, Lottie, shut up now, wrap it up. So on that note, folks, everybody said, know why you're going to use it. Know that this is the time. We're all part of Ross Brand's Livestream Universe predictions for the last 4, 5, 6 years. And we saw this coming. Everybody else may have missed it, but we saw this coming, that communication was going to be this. So it's here to stay. So embrace away and enjoy when you don't just live, global live connect. And thanks to all the BeLive in 5 team today. Ciao.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Marco.
You're welcome.